Hello, Two Slips in the Gully fans. Aaron here, and we're here for part 2 of the Two Slips in the Gully Australian Opener Leaderboard. I wanted to delay this video just so I could capture the one-day international matches that featured Matt Renshaw, which is why it's taken a little while to get the next one out. So we've had some changes to our leaderboard since the last edition, so we'll go through those now. Skyrocketing to the top of the leaderboard is Marnus Labuschagne. Now, Labuschagne has leapfrogged the other contenders, moving from third on the list to first with another brilliant 100 for Queensland, which then subsequently allowed him to be picked as a reserve batsman in the one-day national squad, seeing that he's very much in the selectors' minds. And then not only that, he was then released from the one-day international squad to prepare for another Shield game for Queensland, which says to me that he is very much in the selectors' thoughts. The reason I've got him at the top as well is because I think this is the last thing that England want. We know that Marnus Labuschagne at the peak of his powers is the number one ranked batsman in the world. He reached those rankings. He covers off a lot of the issues that England perceive is wrong with our batting lineup. So a fully fit, in-form Marnus Labuschagne is the last thing that England want to see coming out to bat at the top of the order. So hopefully he continues this rich vein of form, but at the moment I now have him slotting in as the odds-on opener for the first test. At number 2 on the leaderboard, shuffling down from 1 last week, we've got Jake Weatherald. Now, it seems harsh. Jake hasn't really done anything off his own bat that's caused him to fall down the rankings. It's more been Marnus's meteoric rise to the top. Jake scored 18 in the first innings against Western Australia, then followed it up with a match-winning 94 in the second. It was a very, very close game, came down to the wire, and without Weatherald's clutch 94, Tasmania would not have got away from that one. He's still very much what we're looking for in an opener. He's right at the peak of his powers. He's in a rich vein of form. He's an aggressive left-handed opening batsman. I still think that he does have a say in what's going on. I think he's the only other realistic option to open the batting outside of Marnus at this point. But I think with just Marnus's rich vein of form and the fact that he's a known commodity, we know what he can do at the top of the order, he's moved up to 1. But Jake certainly has been doing his own Ashes credentials no harm. At number 3, we have the incumbent sliding down from number 2 in Sam Constas. Now, Sam was undone by a very good piece of new ball bowling from Scott Boland, getting a duck in the first innings. And in the second innings, trying to chase down a target for New South Wales, ended up with 53 before, unfortunately, getting out. Now, on the face of it, a 53 in a low-scoring game does seem like it's going to be, at least a step in the right direction, but I think there'll be the way that he went about scoring some of those runs, and certainly the method of his dismissal, which will be giving selectors pause. He still very much plays like a young man who doesn't know what sort of cricketer he wants to be, whether it be the exciting ramp expert that we saw in the MCG test, or even in the Australia A pink ball game, or if it's going to be the stoic sort of batsman that we saw last year at Cricket Central for those back-to-back hundreds that he scored against South Australia. Luckily for Sam, he's got time on his side. I do think that unless he scores some phenomenal hundreds for New South Wales in the upcoming games, he's probably out of contention now with, as the aforementioned, Marnus Labuschagne return to form. At number 4, Matthew Renshaw maintains his spot there. He hasn't gone up or down. He was selected in the one-day international squad and did himself pretty good there. 21 off 24, 30 off 30, and then he's maiden 50, 56 off 58 in what was a tough game for Game 3 for Australia. Again, when you look at the fact that Carey was released from the side and then Marnus Labuschagne was released from the side to further their Shield scores, I think we can safely say that Marnus is probably not in the selectors' mind frame at the moment to be a legitimate opener for the first test of the Ashes. I do think he's got more to offer in a baggy green. We should possibly be seeing him as a replacement for Khawaja, but I would say at this point that Renners is not likely to be there come the first test. And number 5, maintaining his position there as well, Henry Hunt. A duck in the first innings and then 36 off 86 balls in the second innings for South Australia. Again, it falls in the same boat as Matthew Renshaw. I think that the horse is bolted, so to speak. It's probably going to be down to Weatherald or Marnus. Possibly Sam, if he manages to get some runs under his belt. But I think anyone outside of those top three are really, they're just there making up the numbers. Henry obviously had a great 100 to start the season. He's going to need a couple more hundreds, I think, to even possibly put himself in consideration. I just think that it's too much of a bridge to climb. Marnus Labuschagne, he's a known commodity. We know what he can do at the peak of his powers at test level. And I think, as I said, I don't think England want to see him. So I think we're looking at a Marnus return, and it just depends in what capacity. And I would imagine realistically it's only going to be opener. But we'll keep an eye on how the Shield scores pan out over the next few weeks. Hopefully leading up to the test, there may be some changes. Injuries are always a big thing. Cameron Green is not necessarily fit at the moment. Does that bring his position in the side as number 3 in jeopardy, which could open the door for Marnus to slot back in at 3, and then there's still being an opener position. So we'll keep our ear to the ground and keep an eye on the scores and how things go. And we'll be back in the next few weeks with more videos, seeing if we can uncover who the next opener is going to be. But then, as always, until next time, bye for now.